session is underway right now. He sends his regrets that he couldn't be here and asked us to pass along. The mining sector is a key driver for the Yukon economy and is important to the prosperity of Yukoners. Mining enables Yukoners to provide for their families, fund schools and hospitals, and sustain businesses that drive our tourism and hospitality. The Yukon is a destination for strategic investment in the mining industry, which is rich in gold, silver, copper, and critical minerals deposit essential for our global transition. Again, apologize for not being here, and is looking forward to connecting with investors going forward. And David, it's all yours. Said that as fast as I possibly could.
Thanks everyone for coming here and for setting it up. And Sandeep did a great job telling you a lot about the Yukon. One anecdote, which I'll just mention that is part of the reason why we love the Yukon so much, is accessibility to the government. And I can say this or not, that was sent by a text message, not a formal telegram. And that is the relationship we have with the Premier. You know, he's told me that many times. You know, if you need anything, give me a call on my cell phone. We've done that, and it's been true to word. So, you know, I'm with the Power One Capital Group. You know, we're a merchant bank based in Toronto. Been investing in exploration and development for almost 25 years now. We've been fortunate to be involved with a number of high-profile success stories, taking companies from grassroots exploration right through to development or exits to different majors. That's really sort of set us up to, one, put us in a good position to be able to handicap opportunities, you know, what's going to optimize your chances of success, and B, it's helped us to really develop a strong network within the industry, on the technical side, on the corporate side, to, you know, figure out how and who it is that we should be working with. Gold Corp is a really unique opportunity that was presented to us about 7 years ago. It was brought into us by Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan is a now very notorious prospector. Prior to that, he was what many people thought a crazy guy with a crazy idea. But if you think about it, it's not that crazy at all. This portfolio that we have is in the Yukon's Klondike district. This is, call it Dawson, and maybe about the 100 kilometers that go south of that. That's the epicenter of the historic gold rush that's been mining placer in that area for over 125 years. They've mined 20 million ounces. That's been reported. I'm going to guess it's probably more. And they're continuing to mine placer very actively and very profitably until today. And Sean's thesis was, with all that placer that's come out of the creeks, it's probably a pretty good probability there's more in the hard rock. Like, it didn't come from the sky, and so he went there with a theory and, you know, an opportunity in that it really had not seen any modern day exploration, notwithstanding the fact that there's been 100 years of placer activity. And when he got there, he figured out why, and his, you know, and that's everyone's first question, as it should be. It was our question, and the reason is this area of the Yukon was actually never glaciated, and our portfolio package is basically what you see there in brown and yellow. And what Sean quickly realized is that without glaciation, that means there's very little outcrop. Outcrop is the typical way that prospectors will look for indications of mineralization, and perhaps people with their typical tools not sort of fitting the bill, they looked elsewhere. Sean was able to do a lot of research and figure out another methodology he thought would be applicable, and that was through soil geochemistry. And he started with that, and it's a tricky little process because it's not like you're looking for gold in the soils all the time. You're looking for different pathfinder elements, and he was able, based on the combination of the pathfinder elements he found, based on his research, to vector into where he thought there'd be mineralized systems. And almost immediately, which is just incredible, he was able to make 2 multi-million ounce discoveries. One of those is in white gold, and the other one is the Coffee Project, which was in Inferred Resources. Sean was working with them at the time, helped him make that discovery. That's the purple property down at the bottom. As you may or may not recall, Kaminak was bought by Gold Corp for, I think it was $175 an ounce, or $550 million. What we love so much about this area is A, the prospectivity, B, working with Sean. You know, he's seen what's led to the successes, and he's been able to acquire and package up such a huge land package that it really, in our minds, is a once an opportunity, a lifetime type of an opportunity to be able to assemble such a big land package in such a great place that's seen so little historical work, but the work that has been done has led to such success. So we started to work with Sean. We've been 5 or 6 years into this now. We've had tremendous success. We've been able to delineate a very large resource so far. It's about 2.2 million ounces now, 2 grams per ton, comes right to surface. We think that has opportunity to grow in many different directions directly, and we also believe there's numerous zones of exploration in and around that area, and that's what we've been spending a lot of work on in the last few seasons. We'll get into that more detail in a bit. And while working on that, what really has drawn us to this portfolio initially is the ability for new grassroots exploration. And that's what this team is built on. That's their expertise. We've continued to work the rest of the package, and we've been able to be very successful in making new discoveries. And that's this sort of second bucket of properties that you see there, where we're looking to advance those discoveries to get them into the resource stage. And then the balance is our earlier stage projects, where they're in that earlier part of the protocol that's led to some of these other more advanced discoveries now. And from our perspective, we think we have here what could equate to something like the Timmins camp was 100 years ago, or the Abitibi, or the Nevada Goldfields. And from our perspective, that's what really makes us so excited, is we don't have a project, we truly have a district. And with that type of an opportunity, I think that's what allowed us to attract our partners into this deal. So on top of the Power One Group and Sean, Agnico Eagle is our partner. They own 19.9% of the company, and Kinross is also a partner. They own about 13% of the company, and I think they share our view that this is just such a phenomenally prospective area. They want to have some exposure to it, and what I love about working with them, they offered us all their technical support, which has been great, but they respect that it's our team's knowledge, from having worked in the area and been so successful, that they look to us as this Yukon exploration arm for their business. And it's really been a tremendous relationship. We worked so well together. We've had a lot of success, and I think we're really just scratching the surface for what the Yukon in this district has to offer. So there's a lot going on here. As you see, I have 7 minutes left, which is going to be impossible to do it all justice. I'll touch on a couple of the more topical properties that we've been working on, where I think there's going to be the most exciting news coming out of in the next couple of years. And then if anyone wants to talk after, I'll be around, or you can sure find me by email. So the White Gold project, that's our most advanced project. It's on the White Gold property. And here we've delineated this deposit that I mentioned. In aggregate, it's 2.2 million ounces at just under 2 grams, open pit. It's a phenomenal deposit. And we've seen that grow from 900,000 ounces in 2017 to that level today on moderate amounts of work. And the reason, the approach we've taken, I should say, has been a little bit different than maybe a major would take. Being a junior, we really wanted to see how can we get the best bang for our buck. So instead of delineating the core of the ore body, which was discovered early on, what we decided to do as a strategy, and actually this was Agnico who suggested this as well, to go look for other zones of mineralization in a close proximity. That's going to give you your best bang for your buck. Those are going to be bona fide new discoveries, and that's where you're going to really show the leverage and the ability to grow this quickly with more drilling over time. And that's what we did. So we gave ourselves a 10-kilometer radius. We were able to tap into 2 new discoveries very quickly. The most recent one is on this Ryan's Trend. It's called the Ryan Surprise, and it's on the Ryan's Trend. And within a couple of years, we put together quickly over 250,000 ounces, and we think there's a lot of room to grow. It's really high grade, and it comes right to surface again. And there's a number of other similar looking type of anomalies along that trend of 6 kilometers, which have seen almost no work. So we think that little belt there is going to be extremely prospective in terms of finding more gold, in addition to some other targets in and around the properties themselves. And the zones themselves, like the Gold Saddle especially, the highest grades have been at the bottom of the pit. We really haven't spent the time drilling deeper. We think the opportunity to either grow the pit or go underground is very realistic. So we expect a lot of growth from this area. And then if you look just to the north, there's our QV property. There's a VG deposit. That's another few 100,000 ounces there. That target we've done a little bit of work on. We put that resource together as well. But there's several other new soil anomalies which have just been recently identified and undrilled, which we are now in the process of starting to drill. They look very similar to the anomalies that led to the discovery of our existing deposits, and they're even actually higher grade. So we're really, really excited about that. So this is, there's a lot of this stuff on our website. You see, the highest grades, as I mentioned, coming to the bottom of the pit, not even captured yet. So we think, there's a lot of good stuff coming. That's sort of the meat and potatoes of our story. That resonates with a lot of people. This is the new discovery stuff. We think it's extremely exciting. The two where we've probably had the most interesting success in the last couple of years, one's on our Betty property. That's contiguous to Newmont's Coffee project, right along the same fault system. It's actually contiguous to Western Copper and Gold as well. 6 or 7 very interesting gold and soil anomalies there. We drilled a couple of them so far. On one of them in particular, the Betty Ford, we've had some tremendous success drilling 50 meters plus of 3.5 grams right from surface, oxide. Not a huge surprise considering where it's located in relevance to that coffee project, which is continuing to advance. Newmont's in the process of selling that, and we're eager to see who's going to buy that and how they're going to plan to advance the area. Newmont, which a lot of people don't know, have continued to be very active, drilling probably more than anyone in that region. It's just Newmont. You don't necessarily hear about it. They don't have to announce anyone. But that project is really looking interesting. It's permitted, and part of the mining plan is also to build another road. Sandeep talked about the one in their district, which you sort of see at the bottom of our map. This is a road that goes north from Coffee right up to Dawson, which will be just a game changer for us. It comes right through our portfolio. Everything becomes road accessible, changes the economic dynamics for any type of new discovery. So we're really pleased and looking forward to that happening. It could have happened a few years ago if Gold Corp wasn't bought, unfortunately for us, but it sounds like it's happening now. So it's been very eagerly anticipated. Just some more technical results. You see that Coffee Creek fault and where our Betty Ford target is falling right along the same fault system. Some of the grades up there, which I mentioned, are pretty spectacular, 3 grams plus, 8 grams plus over a very, very interesting type of widths. So that's just kind of fly by here quickly. This one I mentioned, I want to touch on this before I run out of time. This is back up near our Golden Saddle deposit, just on the other side of the river. It's called, it's actually not named yet, but we refer to it sort of as the Chris Creek anomaly. It's where there's a pretty active placer camp there. And we've outlined in a couple years of soil sampling an anomaly. It's about 2 kilometers long already. As I mentioned, some of the most intense soil anomalies that we've seen to date looks very, very similar to what we've seen over at the Golden Saddle. So we're really excited to do some work on that. We did drill this a little bit this season. We were able to really sort of accelerate our process, and we were able to get, after doing some LiDAR, 6 holes in, shallow holes. We're hitting the structure, we think, so we're really eagerly anticipating what that could look like. This thing is open to the east and the west, and from what we've seen in doing the LiDAR, we think that there is actually our target, or the anomaly right at the edge, has had the highest grade on the whole thing. So we do expect this to continue to get bigger. Where it is so close to our flagship deposit makes it really, really exciting. And there's a number of other smaller anomalies which we've done very little work on, which we're going to go back on because we think they're, it's sort of right on trend, and those terms used loosely. The pearls on the beads on the pearls, or whatever it's called, but it sort of fits that model coming right up from the Golden Saddle to the VG to this. So keep an eye out for that one. And then just quickly, we have this huge land package. We've been so focused on gold the whole time, but in the last couple of years, we took a step back and we said, the Yukon's just so minerally well endowed that let's start to look at what else we might have in our package. And there's these 2 big copper porphyry targets we have on them. We're talking scales of 2 kilometers by 4 kilometers. Just started doing some work on them. Very interesting geochemical signatures of gold, copper, molybdenum. These are both at the south end of our package, which maybe I'll just go back up here to the beginning to show you where it is. And they're sort of a stone's throw away from the casino property. Sandeep was there. You saw that's a phenomenally monstrous project. It's just sort of at the bottom of our portfolio there. And to expect to see other porphyries occurs in districts. So to expect a porphyry potential in that area, I think that's pretty highly prospective as well. So, really excited about what we've seen to date. We think we're really just scratching the surface. We've had phenomenal success in our new discoveries, growing our resources, finding new targets, and it's all coming together. I think you see the world is vectoring in on top jurisdictions. The Yukon's one of them. Majors are coming in all over the place, and I'm really eagerly anticipating what the Yukon's going to hold for all of us mining companies in the next several years. I think it could be a very exciting time. And that's my time.
Thanks, David.